Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today, we're diving deep into a tool that honestly runs the modern workplace behind the scenes, Microsoft Intune. You ever stop and wonder how your company manages to keep its data safe on your personal phone or on a company laptop that could be halfway across the world? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down today. So, first things first, why does a tool like Intune even need to exist? Well, it was built to solve a huge problem, a problem that pretty much every single company is dealing with right now. We'll call it the modern IT headache. I mean, think about it. The old way of doing IT, where everything was inside the office, it just completely fell apart once those office walls disappeared. I mean, picture the absolute chaos for a minute. You've got employees working from everywhere. They're using their own personal phones, their own tablets, that whole bring your own device or BYOD thing, to get into sensitive company files. Your IT teams are trying to juggle Macs and iPhones and Androids, not just the good old Windows PCs. Every single one of those devices is a potential security risk. And those old school tools, the ones designed for everyone being in one building, they just can't keep up. They're totally overwhelmed. So, how in the world do you solve a headache like that? Well, this is where Microsoft Intune comes in. It's a cloud-based service, which is key, and it tackles this problem from two really distinct angles, something called Mobile Device Management, or MDM, and Mobile Application Management, which is MAM. So let's unpack what those actually mean. Okay, so first up, we've got MDM. This is all about controlling the entire device. This is what you probably think of when you get a company laptop, right? With MDM, the IT department can make sure you have a strong password, they can encrypt the entire hard drive to protect the data, and they can even do things like configure device-wide settings. It's about total management of an asset the company owns. But here's the other half of the puzzle, MAM. And this is where things get really, really clever. This is designed for your personal phone, that BYOD scenario. Look, you don't want your company controlling your whole phone, and to be honest, they don't want that responsibility either. So MAM lets IT manage only the corporate apps on your phone. For example, it can literally stop you from copying some text from your work email and trying to paste it into, say, your personal Twitter app. It basically creates a secure little bubble for all the company data, leaving all your personal photos and messages completely alone. All right, but here's the thing. You can't manage any of this stuff if the devices aren't, on the radar in the first place. So before any of this magic can happen, devices have to be enrolled or registered with the company. And this leads us to two really fundamental ways a device can be identified in the Microsoft world. And understanding this difference is absolutely key. Over on the left, you've got Azure AD joined. Just think of this as for corporate-owned devices. The laptop or phone is fully a part of the company's system, which gives IT that complete control we talked about with MDM. But on the right, you have Azure AD registered. This is for your personal BYOD devices. You're not joining the company network. You're just registering your device to prove who you are. This lets the company apply those much lighter touch MAM policies just to your work apps. So remember, joined is for company stuff, registered is for your personal gear. Simple as that. Now, once all those devices are on board, IT admins get access to this incredible toolkit that lets them configure, secure, and monitor everything. And this is where the real magic happens. So, you might be thinking, okay, how does an admin actually set the rules? How do you tell all these different devices what they can and can't do? Well, they do it with something called configuration profiles. You can seriously just think of these as the official rulebooks for all the devices. An admin can build a profile that automatically connects a laptop to the corporate Wi-Fi, or one that disables the camera on certain sensitive devices. They can even stop users from messing around with critical system settings. It's all about making sure every device is set up the right way, the company way, from the get-go. Okay, but setting the rules is one thing. How do you actually make sure people are following them? Continuously check that every single device is meeting your security standards. Well, that is the job of compliance policies. Think of this like a mandatory security inspection that every device has to pass. Before any device is trusted, Intune runs down this checklist. Is your encryption turned on? Is your operating system up to date? Is antivirus running? Is the phone jailbroken? If a device fails even one of these checks, it is immediately marked as non-compliant. And if it fails, that has some major consequences. So what happens when a device is marked non-compliant? This is where everything we've talked about comes together in an incredibly powerful feature called conditional access. And honestly, the best way to think about this is like a bouncer at a nightclub. The club is all your company's important data, and that bouncer is checking every single device's ID before it's allowed inside. Let's walk through what that looks like in real time. So you try to open Outlook on your phone. Instantly, conditional access steps in like a gatekeeper and asks Intune, hey, is this device compliant? If Intune gives the thumbs up and says, yep, all checks passed, you're in. Access is granted. But if Intune says, nope, this device is non-compliant, access is blocked. But here's the cool part. You usually get a helpful message that tells you exactly what you need to do to fix it. Like, hey, you need to set a password on your phone. So it's not just a big no sign. It's security that actually helps you get back on track. So when you step back and look at all these pieces working together, you start to see the much bigger picture. Intune isn't just about managing phones and laptops. It's about a whole new, unified way of thinking about every single device in a company, what we call endpoints. So let's wrap this up. What's the bottom line here? Well, Intune gives companies one single dashboard to manage every kind of device their employees could possibly be using. This means people get the flexibility to work how and where they want, but IT still has a firm grip on security. It automates all those boring updates and makes sure that company data stays safe no matter where it is. Basically, it's the ultimate cure for that modern IT headache we talked about at the beginning. And all of this leads to a really interesting, kind of mind-bending question. If our tools can now manage every device and secure all our data directly over the internet, what's really the point of the traditional corporate network anymore? Are we actually watching the end of IT as we've always known it? Something to chew on. Thanks for tuning in.